9 o'clock. Let's get the show on the road. Now, as I did mention earlier, just before the news, Africa is producing women with the skills to participate in the technology sector, but the numbers tell a different story when we look at what happens after graduation. Now, despite women making up 47% of STEM graduates across the continent, they account for only about a quarter of technical roles, with representation falling even further in the technology leadership sectors. Now, for Masego Mosala, solutions engineer at Cloudera, the challenge is not simply getting more women into STEM, it is also about understanding why so many are being lost between qualifications and career progression, and what happens in the business field as well. Let me welcome my guest, who is indeed Masego Mosala. Masego, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the Journal here on Channel Africa.
Good morning, Ernest and the listeners.
Good morning. Thank you for your time. Now we often talk about getting more women into STEM, but your argument is that the bigger problem is actually what happens after they graduate, right? Where exactly
Yeah.
that pipeline, where does it break, this pipeline of achieving exactly that?
Yeah, no, thank you so much for the question, Ernest. So the getting the graduate from STEM career is not a problem because we have around 47% of women choosing STEM careers at varsity. However, the gap is when they come from varsity and need to work in the working sector. There are certain skills that unfortunately varsity does not prepare us for. That comes to your communication skills, that comes to your how to ensure that you can simplify technical knowledge and ensure that the customers can see value from it. From a varsity standpoint, as a graduate from Solplaik University, we were taught things like your coding, how to debug a code, how to do your maths, your statistics. But when you enter the working force, it's a different story. You need to know how to present, how to show value, and how to solve real customer problems.
So to that extent, I mean, it's the same as young people. We know we've got huge unemployment rates when it comes to young people, and the big question or the big problem they would raise from time to time is when they apply for jobs, companies and corporates are looking for experience. But how do you gain the experience when we haven't been given the opportunity? So how are you proposing we address this gap? Where are we missing the point here? From the institutions of higher learning and private and government businesses.
Yeah, I like the fact that you've mentioned those points because to address this gap, we're going to need to work as a team, be it institution, government, even the private sector. I'd like to also share my story as someone that joined tech with no prior experience. To be honest, when I studied a degree in data science, I had no idea what data science was. But the bursary was there, the opportunity was there, and I thought, let me just make the most of it. So it comes from also taking advantages of opportunities while you are still in varsity. That can be opportunities like your hackathons, where you need to solve a technical problem and present it back. It can be opportunities like going to tech events. There's a number of them that are happening within the industry. Another thing is also taking advantage of vocational work, whereby when it comes to December, you can apply to work at the private sector for December holidays to gain hands-on experience, or even volunteering if you have the time to volunteer for certain organizations that could use your technical skills for you to gain hands-on working experience.
So that's exactly what you applied. I mean, after graduating, you interned and knocked on doors to get the first-hand experience. Is this a model
Yeah.
you're proposing for universities, perhaps? And
I think this model could work for universities and corporates, but I think we need to go a step deeper. I think when it comes to someone that has no experience joining the tech field, we need to ensure that you have the right mentorship. Having someone that has worked this part before, that knows the ups and downs, that knows how the industry evolves at a faster pace, They can assist you to learn at a faster pace and also avoid some mistakes that they might have done. Having a career sponsor, something that might also be beneficial to me, because the reality is that some of these rooms, we're not going to have access to them because we're still building our profile. So having someone in leadership that is able to recommend you whenever the year of opportunities has been a plus for me. And I think also working for a multi-international company like Cloudera, it has sort of opened doors for me to be able to interact with colleagues and peers from around the world. So when I need help, it's not a thing of just focusing on my network in the country, but rather reaching out to anyone across the globe. So I think we need to ensure that the young people that want to enter the tech industry, basically they do have those skills to network, to communicate, but they're also paired with the correct mentorship, the correct coaching, and the correct sponsorship.
Yes, but also beyond just employing female graduates in the tech field, there are also discrepancies, right? When it comes to leadership roles, for instance, in corporates, it's still not yielding the intended results in terms of gender parity, right? Having more
Yeah.
women leading corporates as far as technology companies are concerned. There's a concern there as well.
Yeah, no, that's a huge concern there because from the 47% graduate that graduate from university, only 12% of them make it to leadership roles. Now, this leadership in technical roles like your chief data officers, for example, I think one of the ways that we could potentially solve that is having clear career paths. I get that technology being in data and AI changes at the faster pace. And as people in tech, we need to be able to learn, adapt, and be agile. But I think if you have a clear career path in terms of, I would like to see myself as a CDO in the next future, then you have a path to say, okay, to be a CDO, these are the requirements from a technical perspective, from a business perspective, then you can ensure that you equip yourself with the right experience, with the right people, and you're also able to ensure that you're able to follow a certain path to reach that goal. Companies, government, institution needs to ensure that that support is also built in place for women so that when a woman enters this space, they know that they can also not only just thrive into the space, but also make it to leadership position because the reality is that tech is mostly male dominated and we need to solve that.
Because women will have a slightly better understanding, and this is not a sexist comment. They'll have a better understanding because they would have gone through the challenges as female in the tech world, right? If they are in leadership roles, that would make it easier even to grow this number of intakes.
Yeah, it would make it easier for women to grow the numbers intakes, but I think also companies need to be intentional of building spaces for women to be able to thrive internally. For example, one of the things that comes to mind now is that the company that I work for, which is Cloudera, they have what we call Women in Leadership, whereby they'll invite also young women in the community in the company to be mentored by these women that are directors, that are CEO, that are within executive level. So sometimes when you see the art of the possible, it also gives you the idea of, okay, if there's another woman that's doing this, then it means it's also possible for me.
All right, Masego, please don't go away. We'll continue with our conversation a little further. My guest is Masego Mosala, Solutions Engineer at Cloudera. We're talking women in the fields of STEM, of course, more specifically in IT, technologies, and science as well. We'll be back after this.
Rise and shine with Peter Ndoro and Tsepiso Makwetla.
When we hear the 14th of July, an anthem should come to mind.
I'm waiting. It's American.
French.
Huh?
Yes.
But then they must be similar.
The American is.
You had the same thing.
The French is. They're very
all right,
different.
all right. Now we can hear the
It's
difference.
Bastille Day today, French National Day.
Mina, sorry, French
I
croissants.
know.
French croissants is to the extent of my love. Eh?
Oh dear.
Big continent, bigger conversations. Rise and shine with Peter Ndoro and Tsepiso Makwetla. 6 till 9 a.m. on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Téléchargez l'application Channel Africa sur votre Play Store ou Apple Store afin de pouvoir suivre toutes nos émissions en direct de là où vous vous trouvez. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
The Journal with Ernest Pillay.
All right, 23 minutes past 9 Central African time. We're talking, the lack of more women finding their voice and, of course, their vocational purpose in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And with me on the line is Masego Mosala, Solutions Engineer at Cloudera. Now, Masego, you touched on the private sector needing to do its bit as well when it comes to upskilling women in particular. Now, we all know technology moves at a lightning pace. I mean, today we're discovering this as far as AI is concerned. So a single training exercise at any said company will just be that, a ticking box exercise. This needs to be intentional, as you said, and it's got to be ongoing training, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally share the same sentiments. And I think also it needs to be tailored. Technology is fast. Careers are actually evolving. There are careers that are available today that 2 or 3 years were not available. Like, for example, an AI engineer. So the training needs to be tailored. It needs to be developed on a continuous basis. But it also needs to be married hand in hand with your communication skills, with your business skills. So it's not a matter of you've qualified, now you have your BSc degree in data science. It's a matter of once I have this degree, what impact can I show from a business standpoint for this degree? Because the reality is that customers and businesses, they don't really care whether you're a data scientist or a computer scientist. They care about their bottom line and how can I use this data science to ensure that I progress my business to the next level. So we need to ensure that when we do these trainings, we tailor for such cases also.
So a little earlier on, you shared at least a little bit of how you got into Cloudera and how you've managed to find your voice and your position there. But there are also, as I'm reading up on this, hidden curriculum dynamics as far as the job market is concerned that nobody teaches, and it covers things like how to handle multiple rounds of technical interviews, how to use platforms like LinkedIn deliberately with an intention to advance yourself.
Yeah, no. I'd like to also touch base on my experience as someone that's from Kimberley, which is a fairly small town. And when I came to the tech industry, I had to move to a city like Joburg. And then I started my career working for a tracking company, analyzing their data, solving business problems so that they can know whether to increase premiums for their customers or not. And from there, I went to work for another multi-international company, whereby I was advising customers on their AI strategy. And now currently I'm at Cloudera. And one thing that was constant within my journey is advocating for myself and also finding people that will help me accelerate my journey. Another thing that I'd also like to point out is that when you are new in this space, I remember from my early days as a data scientist, I was scared whenever the code wasn't running. I was scared to ask for help. I was scared to speak up because sometimes you don't want to come across as if you don't know what you're doing. I mean, you just qualified.
Yeah.
But the reality is that some of the things we are not taught at varsity, and you need to speak up for yourself. You need to ask for help. You need to say, I've done X, Y, Z, but I'm stuck here. How do I get help to ensure that I solve this problem? And I think also leveraging platforms like LinkedIn to post, to have an opinion when it comes to data and AI, to follow people that are doing this work actually, or that are what you want to be or where you want to be. it's something that we could also encourage young people to do, because a lot of opportunities are on LinkedIn. All the roles that I've applied for, I found them on LinkedIn. So being active on LinkedIn, posting on LinkedIn also increases your chances of getting access to these opportunities.
Oh, absolutely. Well put. And as a parting shot, I mean, there's a parent perhaps listening in, or a young graduate or somebody deciding to follow this field of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. You're a data scientist, right? What would your advice be as a parting shot? What career options in terms of studies and all of that should they follow intentionally to achieve at least what you've achieved?
I think the buzzword now is AI, and there's another opportunity that I see opening up within the AI space. Yes, we have AI models that are being built, but these AI models need to be governed. There's an AI governance opportunity. These AI models need to be secured. There's an AI security opportunities. All of this needs to be, we need data to be able to feed this AI. There's opportunity that are going to come up within the big data space, because these models also do produce data. I'd encourage someone that wants to take place in the tech space to maybe focus on these key areas. But I think also advice that I'd like to give in general that I feel like looking back, I should have done is being able to fail fast. A lot of time when we enter these spaces, we scared to speak up. We scared when, for example, when our code is not working, we scared to make a mistake. Looking at my younger self, I feel like I should have taken more chances, fail faster. If the code wasn't working, speak up, get help, ensure that I get it working, learn from my mistake at a faster pace, because the rate at which AI and tech is changing, it's quite fast. And embrace your failures, learn from them. And also, I cannot emphasize this enough, network, network, and network. Thank you.
Beautiful. A lovely inspirational note to leave it on there, Masego. Fail fast and don't be afraid to take chances. We'll take that. Thank you so much for chatting to us, and thank you for sharing your insights.
Thank you for the invite, Ernest. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Masego Mosala is a solutions engineer at Cloudera. Well, no wonder. She speaks well. Given some good advice there, and I hope it comes in handy for you. Maybe you would like to weigh in on the conversation and share your points of view regarding this subject matter. Our WhatsApp line for your voice notes, +2783 288 6684. It's 9:30 Central African time. Time now for Channel Africa Sport with Figile Lingwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you, Ernest, and good morning. We kick off with football news. This hour, Malawi will hope to go one better